What's up, people? Welcome to my Bible memory series. So in this video I decided, after longing to master the Bible, I've decided to master the Bible from book to book. So I started with Genesis. So just relax and listen to how I did it. So first of all, what I do is, like, after reading the Bible, I have a focus on how everything is then planned. So the Bible is planned in forms of chapters, and then you have verses, and then from there you have the paragraphs, and then you have the word, like the sentences, and then you have wordings. So, but for you to master, after reading, normally you want to see the flow. So the first point, or what will help you to master everything, first of all, is the chapter. So in Genesis we have 50 chapters, and that is what, for me, after reading Genesis, I decided that I also wanted to master all the chapters, 50, so that I know the sequence of everything. So the first thing is, the first chapter we're talking about God's creation. Second chapter we talk about the Garden of Eden, and then after that we talk about disobedience of man. Then we talk about Cain and Abel. Then after that we look at the that is chapter 5 now. Then that is the descendants of Adam. Then after that, after knowing the descendants of Adam, then you go to chapter 6, which talk about wickedness of man. This is when now the man become wicked, so God decides to take them off. And then you go to 7, which is then flood. And then we go to 8. Chapter 8 talk about the end of flood. Chapter 9 talks about the covenant between God and Noah. Chapter 10 talks about Noah's descendants and his sons. 11 talked about then the Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel. And then 12, God called Abraham. You remember, Abraham came then later. Chapter 13 talks about Abraham separating from Lot. And then we have chapter 14. It's then Abraham rescues Lot. Then we have chapter 15, God's covenant with Abraham. So now his name becomes then Abraham, not Abram anymore. And then chapter 16 is about Ishmael and Hagar, the story of Ishmael and how that one happened. And then 17 is circumcision, a sign of covenant between God and Abraham. Then chapter 18, God promises Abraham the son. Chapter 19 is about the Sodom and Gomorrah, so the sinlessness of the Sodom and Gomorrah. And then chapter 20 talk about Abraham. Now he's called Abraham and Abimelech. Chapter 21, you talk about then Isaac being born. Chapter 22, God commands or asks Abraham to sacrifice Isaac for his case. Chapter 23 is about the time when Sarah dies, and Abraham has to buy the burial land. Chapter 24 is about looking for wife for Isaac. Chapter 25 is descendants of Abraham. Chapter 26 is when Isaac now leaves Gerar. Chapter 27, Isaac blesses Jacob. Chapter 28, Isaac then tells Jacob to go and visit Laban. So Jacob is now taking off to visit Laban. Chapter 29, Laban receives Jacob, so this reception. And then 30, you talk about other children born to Jacob. Okay, and then we go then to 31, which we find Jacob fleeing from Laban. Chapter 32, Jacob prepares to meet Esau. Chapter 33, Jacob meets Esau. Chapter 34, the rape of Dinah, if you remember the story very well. Chapter 35, you have Jacob is blessed at Bethel. Chapter 36 is Esau's descendants of Esau. Chapter 37 is about Joseph and his brothers. Chapter 38, we have the idea what happened with Judah and Tamar. Chapter 39, we have Joseph now in prison interpreting the dreams. Chapter 40, no, 30, actually 39, the first thing what happens is there's Joseph and the wife of Potiphar, and then it's chapter 40 when he talks about when he interpreted the dream in prison, and then chapter 41, Joseph interprets then the dream for the king, and chapter 42, you see Joseph's brothers, because there's hunger now in Egypt, Joseph's brothers are now moving, running to Egypt to look for maize or to look for corn or food in that case. Then you go to chapter 33, Joseph demands, ask his brothers to go and ask their dad to bring their last born, which is Benjamin. Chapter 44, the lost cup, that means they put the cup in Benjamin's sack. And then chapter 45, Joseph reveals to his brothers who he is. Chapter 46, the entire family of Jacob are now moving to Egypt. Chapter 47, they are now settling, the Jacob's family are now settling or sitting in Egypt. Chapter 48, Jacob is blessing Joseph's son, that is Manasseh and Ephraim. And then chapter 48, last words from Jacob. And chapter 50, which is the last one, he dies, Jacob dies, and the entire family now decides to bring his body to Canaan and bury him. So that's how I mastered the entire Genesis, and I know the story. So after reading this, what we call the mastery stage. So normally I say, first of all, you speed read. After speed reading, then you want to retain. So retain information, and then you can recall. So what I'm doing at this moment is like I recall what I already learned. And this one is sticking, so I will never forget. So remember, we do this kind of skills, like mastery skills for students. We do mastery skills for anyone who feels like their brain, like they don't trust their brain anymore, they're not performing well academically and whatever. So we always believe that there's no one who is stupid, you only have untrained brain. And if there's anyone who is interested in doing this kind of mastery skills, you can always reach out to me, and then we see how we can work together. Otherwise, thank you so much, and do not fail to to subscribe for this video so that you support our work. Thank you so much, and bye.